After my brother got married and moved out, it was just me and Mom, trying to navigate life together. At first, it felt manageable, but lately, I've been feeling a storm of frustration brewing inside me. Don't get me wrong, I'm deeply grateful for everything she's done for me. She raised me on her own after Dad passed away. But gratitude doesn't erase the hurt, does it? It doesn't make it any easier when the person you love most turns their back on you. It started subtly, like cracks forming on the surface of a once strong foundation. I've been helping her financially, even sacrificing my own savings, thinking it would strengthen our bond. But instead, she kicked me out. Yes, kicked me out of the very house I've worked so hard to maintain. And why? Because of Tom and his wife, Catherine. The sheer audacity of it all still leaves me reeling. Anger bubbled inside me. How could they do this? My name is Emily. I'm 25 years old, and I've been through enough to know when something isn't right. After Dad died, our family dynamics shifted dramatically. My older brother, Tom, 10 years my senior, moved out with Catherine, leaving Mom and me to pick up the pieces. It was hard, but we managed, or so I thought. Living with Mom hasn't been easy. She quit her part-time job as soon as I started working and now spends her days lounging around. I became her personal maid, her emotional support, and her bank account, all rolled into one. Emily, is dinner ready yet? She'd ask, or I need an extra $200 this month. The demands never stopped. It felt like my life wasn't my own anymore. Some people might say, just move out if you're unhappy. Believe me, I've thought about it more times than I can count. But she's my mom. She's my rock. How could I abandon her after everything she's done for me? Yet, isn't it human to reach a breaking point? Just because she's my mom doesn't mean I have to endure everything she throws at me, right? One day, I found some money missing from my wallet and confronted her. Mom, did you take my money? I asked, trying to stay calm. Her response? Defensive and dismissive. She borrowed it for clothes, she said, with no intention of paying me back. Every conversation about boundaries spiraled into guilt trips, about how she raised me alone, how I owed her everything. I appreciate her sacrifices, but I'm not a child anymore. I'm financially stable, even generous. Yet, no matter how much I give, it's never enough. And then, as if things couldn't get worse, Tom and Catherine reappeared in our lives like a storm on a calm day. When I came home from work that evening, there they were, sitting comfortably in my apartment. Tom, what are you doing here? I asked, trying to mask my irritation. His response was as arrogant as ever. Do I need a reason to visit my parents' house? Parents' house? This is my place. We sold the family home after Dad passed, and I'm the one paying the rent now. Catherine joined in, her words dripping with condescension. Emily, you're so uptight. No wonder you're still single. The nerve of these two! It felt like a coordinated attack, and I was their target. Since that day, they started coming over more often, treating my apartment as their own personal domain. Tom would bark orders like, I'm hungry. Cook something, and make it quick. Catherine? She demanded I buy her cake, with Mom chiming in, pick it up on your way back from work, lazy girl. Lazy? Me? The only one holding this household together? As the days passed, their true intentions became painfully clear. One afternoon, Mom dropped the bombshell, Emily, I've had enough of living with you. I'm moving in with Tom and Catherine. Her words hit me like a freight train. I stared at her, trying to process. What do you mean by that? I managed to ask, my voice trembling. Before I could gather my thoughts, Tom and Catherine arrived, smug expressions plastered on their faces. "It's only natural for the eldest son to take care of his mother," Tom said, his tone dripping with superiority. Catherine nodded, playing the perfect daughter-in-law. It was all too much. Years of sacrifice, loyalty, and love tossed aside like they meant nothing. As I looked at the three of them, chatting and smirking, something inside me snapped. Fine. If this is how they want it, they can have it. But they'll regret underestimating me. Oh, they'll regret it. Without another word, I declared, "I'm leaving." And as their smug smiles widened, I began to plan. Little did they know, this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. It felt like his wife had taken up permanent residence in my apartment. And me? It was as if I didn't even exist. Invisible, irrelevant, just a ghost haunting their lives. But strangely, their indifference worked in my favor. I wasn't bothered in the slightest as I prepared for my big move. A week passed, and moving day finally arrived. Standing at the threshold of this new chapter, I thought, this is it, freedom at last. Tom, ever casual, delivered his farewell with a nonchalant air. "Today's the day we part ways. Emily, we'll take care of Mom from now on, so you can live without any worries." I replied with equal indifference, "Thank you. I'm leaving Mom in your hands." Yet, my response seemed to ruffle him. His expression darkened, his dissatisfaction palpable. Then came my mother, her tone sharp and biting as ever. "I hope you get married soon, Emily. It'd be a shame to remain single for the rest of your life, don't you think? Society has no mercy for someone like you, they call you a loser." Her words stung, but I held my ground. Tom and his wife chuckled cruelly at her jab, but I didn't waver. Instead, I replied coolly, "That's true. But from now on, I've decided to live for myself. After all, I no longer have to take care of you, right?" That didn't sit well with her. She snapped, "Just stop talking and get out. I never asked you to look after me anyway." Ignoring her tantrum, I turned to the door just as the movers arrived. With professional efficiency, they began clearing out my room. Then, with a calmness that belied the chaos to come, I gestured toward the living room. "Oh, and please move all the appliances and furniture in these rooms too," I instructed. A chorus of shock erupted behind me. "What? What are you doing?" "The TV, the fridge, the microwave. Oh, and the cleaning robot too. The sofa, dining table, the bed, everything goes." My mother's voice was shrill with indignation. "What on earth are you thinking? Stop this nonsense immediately." Tom stormed over, his face as red as a tomato. "How are we supposed to live without furniture or appliances? You can't just take everything." I sighed, seeing their confusion. "Are you under the impression these belong to you? Everything in this apartment, including the apartment itself, is mine." Tom sputtered, "This is Mom's place." "The furniture and appliances were bought with Dad's inheritance, weren't they?" I shook my head, the truth like a blade slicing through his delusion. "No, Tom. I bought it all. I've been giving Mom $22,000 a month in support. But you just wanted to live with her, didn't you? Hoping for an inheritance that doesn't exist." Tom's bravado crumbled. His gaze darted to Mom, who was now pale and silent. "Mom, is that true?" She hesitated, then mumbled, "I just wanted to look good." Tom froze. "Wait, what? We moved in because you said there was an inheritance. If there's no money, what's the point of living together?" The realization hit him like a freight train. Everything, their fake kindness, their sudden interest in Mom, was built on a lie. Desperately, they turned their pleas to me. "Emily, you should live with us again." I laughed bitterly. "Don't make me laugh. There's no way I'd live with people like you. From now on, I'm living for myself." Their pleas turned to silence, their energy draining away as they collapsed into the sofa. "Goodbye. Do your best as a family," I said, slamming the door shut behind me. 2 weeks later, the apartment lease ended, forcing them to leave. Word got back to me that they'd burned through Tom's savings and moved into a shabby apartment. Mom doesn't work, and her days are filled with bitter arguments. Tom works himself to the bone just to scrape by. As for me, life has never been better. Free from their toxic grasp, I've been able to save money and invest in my own happiness. After years of sacrifice, I'm finally living the life I deserve. This revised version focuses on building anticipation, highlighting the emotions of each character, and keeping the reader invested in the protagonist's journey. Let me know if you'd like further refinements.